My name is Lydia Brooks and I'm addicted to buying books. Oh my god, that rhymed. We love the tension, you know? We need some tension, we need some chemistry. I hope she keeps writing them forever and ever and ever because I love them. Voice of the ocean, I'm looking at you. What do you mean that was the ending? A snake wrangling rogue who can't seem to keep his dreaded shirt on. What? I'm gonna say it. I hope I don't regret it, but I think this is a standalone. Hello everyone and welcome back. Welcome to another video. I think it's time to confess something to you all and admit I have a problem. I'm addicted to buying books. My name is Lydia Brooks and I'm addicted to buying books. Oh my god, that rhymed. In all seriousness, I have a problem. I can't stop. I bought a lot of books and I have not finished my summer TBR yet, but buying books gives me joy, y'all. It really does, and I love books. I feel like my entire life revolves around books. For those of you that may be new to my channel, my family owns an independent bookstore, which is where I spend most of my time, and I also make book content, and I also just read a lot. So I have another summer book haul for you. Did I need these books? No. But did I want these books? Yes. And sometimes you just gotta give in to what you want, you know? Life can't always be logical. Life can't always be realistic. Sometimes we go a little crazy and we buy 1,400 books. That being said, let's get into the haul. The first one I bought is Part of My World by Jodi Benson. This is actually a non-fiction book. This is the biography slash memoir of Jodi Benson, who voiced The Little Mermaid in the original Disney film. I was so excited when I saw this. So I think this actually has been out for a few years and then it just got republished into this beautiful cover, and I think I saw it on Instagram, and I've really gotten away from my non-fiction reading goal. I had a goal to read one non-fiction book a month, and I think I've really only read 2 or 3 this year, so I'm pretty behind on that goal, and so I'd like to get a little more into it, and a biography or memoir is always going to do it for me, and I thought this one just sounded so good, and so I bought the physical copy. I will probably end up listening to this. Even though I'm not a big audiobook person for fiction books, I read physical books more than I do anything. For my nonfiction, I find myself getting through them a little faster if I listen to them on audio, so I might end up doing that because I think she actually reads it, which would make it even more special. Join Disney legend Jodi Benson on a magical journey from a Midwestern town to the bright lights of Broadway and the recording booth where she brought to life one of the most beloved Disney princesses of all time. So I'm just really excited to read this. I think this is going to be perfect for the summer. It'll get one more nonfiction in of my goal, and yeah, I love this cover so much. Next up, I have Rich Girl Summer by Lily Chu. This is another one that came up on my Instagram. I think because I've been clicking on things and clicking on sponsored posts for books, I'm getting them more and more on my Instagram, which has actually been great because I feel like I'm getting a little bit more outside of the really popular book realm, and I'm finding some smaller authors to read, which I love, and I'm just really excited about this one. So this one is kind of like fake dating, but she's actually pretending to be someone's fake daughter, and she falls in love with someone else while pretending to be this man's fake daughter. So it says, event planner Valerie Pang never planned on spending her summer sipping champagne at a lakefront estate, dodging suspicious socialites, or pretending to be anyone's long lost daughter. So something happens and her career is basically in hot water, and her uber wealthy older client makes her an offer she can't refuse. Come to his glamorous summer home and pose as the long lost daughter he believes his conniving family was hidden from him. She basically just gets like a summer vacation away from her life trying to fix her career after this big mishap that happens. It says, but Cinderella needs some magic for this big of a makeover. Enter Nico, her client's maddeningly perfect right-hand man. He's organized, meticulous, impossible to read, and infuriatingly handsome. But even though he claims this scheme is a capital M mistake, Nico's the only person Valerie can trust to have her back. As they navigate a world of eccentric matriarchs, class divides, private family feuds, their chemistry is as undeniable as it is ill-timed. I love the premise of this. I've just never read anything like this before. Yeah, I think this cover is super cute. Such a funny title, but yeah, I'm excited. I think it's just a cute, fun summer read. Alright, next up I have Starcrossed Summer by Devin Daniels. This is the author of the rom-com, which I read in my rom-com reading vlog, and I really enjoyed it. I liked this author's writing. She was very easy to read and follow, and this is her new book that just came out I think a week or so ago. This is about Scarlett and Ryder. It says, when a Hollywood starlet is unexpectedly reunited with the co-star who broke her heart, their chemistry has her questioning what's real and what's real in this romance about first loves and second chances. What's real, R-E-E-L, and what's real, R-E-A-L. Love a pun, I love a pun. So this is set in South Carolina, which I think is a really cool setting for a book. So basically they were starring in a movie together, they fell in love, something happened, they broke up. 10 years later, her and Ryder are back in the South Carolina town where they filmed that first movie, and it says where they first fell in love and then dramatically fell apart. As old sparks reignite, Scarlett is swept back into the love story that wants to find her life, forcing her to reckon with a choice that cost them everything, and the devastating secret she's been keeping since their breakup all those years ago. What could the devastating secret be? I don't know, but this cover is beautiful. I love when covers look like they've been watercolored, and this one literally looks like a painting of the two people on the dock. I'm excited about this. It's gonna be different since it's not based off of a movie, but yeah, I'm just excited to see her new book. Like I said, I enjoyed her writing a lot. I'm excited to see what she can do not really following a movie plot. All right, next up I have Wild Card, which is the sequel to Game Set Match, which I just read in June and talked about in my June wrap up. It was just an easy book. I ended up giving it 3 stars because it was not life-changing in the slightest. I never felt crazily connected to any of the characters, but I still just had a good time because of the vibes of the book. You're following 3 different girls on their journey in the tennis world. They're all dealing with their own personal drama as well as romances. The first one kind of followed Penny mainly, but then we also had POV chapters for 2 of the other girls, so it kind of felt like we had 3 main characters. This one is kind of the same, where we're still going to follow all 3 girls, but this time we're kind of focusing on Indiana's romance. She's the girl in the first book that she had been playing tennis when she was younger. Her mom had actually ended up getting sick and passing away, and so she had taken a break from tennis to take care of her mom, and now she's kind of re-entering the tennis world as somewhat of a newbie, but she just has a lot of natural talent, and so she gets paired with this girl Jasmine for doubles partners. This is going to follow her and her love interest, so I'm assuming the third one will be Jasmine's turn to get her big romance, because we pretty much ended the book with Penny and her partner being together, but we still left a little bit unsaid, so I'm guessing that we're going to get Penny's POV in this as well. So I like that all 3 girls are getting their own book, but we're still getting all 3 of their point of views in each book, so it's just easy. It's easy and fun and summery, and I'm excited for this one. All right, next up I have Between Tides and Thunder by Lena Kazik, potentially. So this, I believe, is an independently published book that just got picked up by a traditional publisher. So this is the independent cover, and then I think it's actually being re-released with a new cover for the traditionally published route. But there is a girl who comes into the store a lot. She's one of my regulars, and she is a big ARC reader. She reads a ton of advanced reader copy books, and she always kind of tells me her favorites and what she's really looking forward to, and this was one that she has told me about ever since she read it a few months ago. Anytime she comes in the store, she's like, Lydia, you have to read this book. It was so good. It was unlike anything I've ever read. It just brought me out of a slump. It's just amazing. And so she's been singing the praises of this book long before it even released, and so I was like, you know what, I just have to try this out for myself. I have zero idea what this is about. She didn't really tell me what it was about. I just know that it's fantasy and it's a standalone, which thank the Lord. I'm so tired of starting series. I've got to stop starting series until they're completed because it's just, I hate having to wait. So very, very happy that this is a standalone. This actually has a second book that is in the male main character's point of view. I think it's more like a novella, but the story is fully completed in this one. She just talked about how like heartbreaking it was, but how amazing it was, and how it just like wrecked her emotionally, which we love in a book. It says she was raised to hate him. Now she shares his bed. She expects a prince. She gets the dark commander. And so we have Maya, and it says the question is not if Maya will betray, but who, her people, her love, or herself. I have to read this just to give it a chance because she just thoroughly enjoyed it. We're gonna give this a go. All right, next up we have Romantic Hero by Kirsty Greenwood. The content of this book just sounds so fun. It's kind of magical realism. It's really just a romance, but she's a romance novelist. She had written a cowboy romance, and the cowboy that she wrote in her romance comes to life out of her book, and she has to deal with him in the real world. I love it. It's really reminding me of, what was that movie with Tyra Banks where she was the Barbie doll and then she came to life. Life Size? Is that what it was? Yes, Life Size. Oh my gosh, I love that movie. That's what this is reminding me of. I can't wait to read this. This says, a heartbroken romance novelist is forced to address her writer's block when the villainous cowboy character from her books shows up in the real world, desperately in need of his own happily ever after. It says that she writes happily ever afters for a living, or she did until her own love life fell apart. Now her ex is thriving, her deadline is looming, and she can't write a single word. The last thing she needs is more drama, like waking up to find a confused and rugged cowboy on her sofa, and not just any cowboy, but River Oakley, the villain from her unfinished novel. Somehow very real and very shirtless. River wants to go home, Gertie wants her life back, so they strike a deal. He'll use his cunning ways to help her win back her ex, she'll finish the novel, and surely he'll return to whatever world he wrote in from. But as River proves to be so much more than just the bad guy, Gertie has to choose between the ending she thought she wanted and the plot twist she never saw coming. Oh my gosh, I am just so excited for this book. It's definitely super high up on my list to read, and I just can't wait. It seems pretty short, 350. I think it's just gonna be a fun, cute book, and I'm so excited for this one. All right, next up we have another romance, and this one is Good Being Alive by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This was on my anticipated book release for this like later half of the year. I had seen this posted on Instagram forever ago, like back in February, and so I knew I wanted to try this one. I've never read anything by this author before, but this is a fake dating story. We have a party girl and a British CEO fake a honeymoon to save her family business in this slow burn, grumpy sunshine romance bursting with humor, heat, and hard-won healing. So our main character is Rebecca. She has just lost her entire family in a freak train accident, leaving her completely alone in the world and responsible for their travel agency. Only a few months after the tragedy, her father's UK partner, the straight-laced Theo Porter, reveals that the business is about to go under. Their only hope, a reality TV deal brokered before her father's death with a rebrand. Rebecca goes by Bex, and so Bex and Theo are to pose as newlyweds exploring the world on an extended honeymoon. So we have some forced proximity, we have some fake marriage, I guess. Seems like it's gonna be a fun summer read, but with a little bit more emotion to it, which I always enjoy. It also specifically said that this was a slow burn romance, which I really need in my life, because some of the romances that I read recently have been not even close to slow burn. I feel like we were 2 chapters in and these 2 characters were already in love with each other, and so I'm really craving like a good slow burn romance, which I hope this will give to me. We love the tension, you know? We need some tension, we need some chemistry, we need some holding out for each other's. All right, next up, I got the next 2 books in my very beloved Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder series. I talked about this a gazillion million times on my channel, and I will continue to talk about it because I love this series. I always give the disclaimer that most people are probably not going to enjoy this series. Most people are going to think that the series is a little dumb, potentially a little silly, but I love it. I love it because it's silly. I love it because it's just so ridiculous, and it is literally a Hallmark movie in a book. The same thing happens in every single book, and I love that about it because it just gives me such a sense of maybe a little bit of nostalgia, even though I didn't start reading this series like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It just gives me so much comfort. Maybe that's what it is. They're just so comforting to read because I know the same thing is going to happen. I know how her mother is going to act. I know that she's going to be torn between her 2 love interests. I know that they're going to solve the mystery, and whoever dies is going to be a bad person, and we're going to be happy that he's dead, and whoever actually did the murder is going to be a bad person, and we're going to be happy that they're going into jail, and it's just never anything too serious, and I love these books. So I always give the disclaimer that the writing in these books is written like a Hallmark movie, so it's not like great literature or fabulous prose. It's just a comforting, lovely little Baker mystery series. So I'm on, I think, 16 and 17 of this series. I have Blackberry Pie Murder and Double Fudge Brownie Murder. This is the next one, and it's set in summer, so I wanted to go ahead and get this one so I can read it during summer, and this one is set kind of in between summer and fall, so I always like to read them in the season that they're set. And yeah, I'm really excited about these. I'm sad that I'm getting close to the end of the series. I talk about how they're written like Hallmark movies, but they actually have been turned into a series on Hallmark called the Hannah Swenson Mysteries, I think. I think the author has been really involved with making the movies, so I think that's just where her time has gone, but I hope she keeps writing them forever and ever and ever because I love them. All right, next up we have Lake Club by Lena Patton. This is actually a literary fiction, so we're gonna dabble in a little literary fiction, but it's mostly, I got this because it was supposed to be like a very drama-filled story, and I figured a literary fiction with a lot of drama in it would be good. So this is about two women in a wealthy lakeside suburb clash over a cute male nanny and pull the town's darker secrets to the surface. It says Danica has it all when she attends events at the Alden Lakes Country Club Head's Turn. Augie has lost it all. Augie wants to keep her head down, save money, and find a way to leave her hometown for good, but someone keeps distracting her. Danica and Augie have one thing in common. They are both a little obsessed with Chat, the male nanny Danica hired for the summer. As heat rises between the three of them, the truth behind a long buried scandal comes to light, and everyone at the club must reckon with the consequences. So I just think this sounds hilarious. I love a good drama story. I think this is funny that two women are fighting over a male nanny named Chat. We will see. It seems like it's gonna be a great little easy summer read. It's pretty short. It's under 300 pages, so just a fun little summer book to throw in there. My mom called me, and then when I was talking to her, my camera died. So I had to take a little bit of a break for a second, but we're back. We have 4 more books to finish out the video, so I need to get through these. All right, the next book, I wish I had had a little sooner so I could have included this in my mermaid pirate fantasies video, but better late than never. This is Capitana by Cassandra James. So this is another one that came up on my Instagram, you guessed it, and this is about Jimena. My god sister just had a new baby and they named her Jimena, and I had no idea that the name Ximena was pronounced Jimena, but ever since they named their baby that, I feel like I've seen it everywhere. I've just started using a new lip liner from the brand Just Jimena. It's a makeup line, and now this main character's name is Jimena too, so I think it's just funny that they named Sweet Jimena her name, and then it just opened up my entire world to this name before. But anyway, Jimena, she has been in training at La Academia to join the Cazadores, elite seafaring hunters who track down pirates, but her future is uncertain. Though she is at the top of her class, she cannot escape the shadow cast by her parents, notorious pirates who were executed when Jimena and her sister were young. Ability alone won't earn Jimena a Cazador cloak, so when the legendary pirate Gasparilla returns and captures the Empire's queen, Jimena offers to bring back the queen and Gasparilla in exchange for a cloak. But there's a catch. Only one Cazador cloak is available, and Jimena's competition is Dante, an infuriating yet handsome classmate who has his own reasons for chasing the prize. And her exposure to the world leads her to question the laws she's always fought to uphold. Is it possible she's been on the wrong side all along? So we have another pirate story. I'm so excited. This says vengeance belongs to those who wait. I was just really intrigued by this cover. It just looks very aquatic and piratey. We have the ship and her sword and an eye patch. I mean, a full-on pirate with an eye patch? How much better can you get than that? But it is a young adult book, so I'm excited. I don't know if this is a series. I'm really hoping that it's not and that it's a standalone, but with my luck it probably is a series, because how many books have I read this year that not only start a series, some of them I knew, but there were so many books that I started this summer that I thought were standalones and that were just fully not. Voice of the Ocean, I'm looking at you. What do you mean that was the ending? And what do you mean there isn't even a release date for the next book yet? Oh my gosh. What's she doing to me with that ending? It was crazy. All right, next up I have Empire of Shadows by Jacqueline Benson. So this one actually is a series. I knew that going in. This is book 1. This is the Raiders of the Arcana series. So it kind of reminds me of Indiana Jones. That's really what this cover is reminding me of. So this says, nice Victorian ladies don't run off to find legendary lost cities. One trifling little arrest shouldn't have cost Ellie Mallory her job, but it's only the latest in a line of injustices facing any educated woman with an archaeological ambitions. When Ellie stumbles across the map to a mysterious ancient city, she knows she's holding her chance to revolutionize pre-Columbian history. There's just one teensy complication. Our ruthless villain wants it, and Ellie is all that stands in his way. She needs the help of maverick surveyor Adam Bates, a snake-wrangling rogue who can't seem to keep his dratted shirt on. What? Between stealing trousers, Plummeting over waterfalls and trying not to fall in love with her machete-wielding partner, will Ellie be able to stop the oracle of a lost empire from falling into the wrong hands? I'm really excited for this. This just seems like such a fun adventure, and yeah, I was really intrigued by the cover of this one. I also keep calling this Empire of Storms because that's the Throne of Glass book, but Empire of Shadows. Yeah, it just seems like a very fun adventure to go on for the summer. Alright, I have another fantasy for you. This is When Dealing with Dragons by Dana Swift. She was born to heal, he was born to win. Now, I'm gonna say it. I hope I don't regret it, but I think this is a standalone. We will see. She's copper, he's silver, their secrets are gilded in gold. Farron Walsh has one goal, follow her father's path to becoming a dragon veterinarian. Dragons gave humans the power to craft metal, and she'll protect these creatures from anyone who dares to exploit them. That includes her arrogant class rival, James Murphy, and her fiercest competition for a life-changing scholarship. When James starts interning at her family's sanctuary, it puts everything at risk. Farron isn't just the ordinary copper crafter she seems. She's hiding a secret that could not only change her life, but their society as a whole. And James, trying to find refuge from his controlling father, harbors his own secret, a long-standing crush on Farron, but neither can risk getting too close. The fate of an endangered species is at stake. It kind of reminded me of the book that I read of Flames and Fury. That was the dragon racing book, and it was a similar situation where girl was the daughter of someone who owned a dragon sanctuary. Was it dragons? No, it wasn't dragons. It was phoenixes. I did not like that book, but I liked the premise of it, and so that's what kind of led me to do this one, because this one was obviously dragons, not phoenixes, and this cover is just, I mean, so gorgeous. I mean, look at this little dragon face on the side. That's so cute. So we will see. I hope I like this. I really, really hope it's a standalone, but again, my luck, probably won't be. Ever since Fourth Wing, I've just been obsessed with reading anything about dragons. I mean, I don't think anything will ever compare to how Rebecca Yarros wrote the relationship with dragons and how they actually spoke in the novel. I love that. I'm intrigued to see what the new book is coming out. When we like go to pre-order on our site, it says not book 4, and so it's gonna be a novella or something along those lines, and I'm just intrigued because there's no information about it yet, and it comes out, I mean, I think semi soon. She also has a new romance book coming out, and I actually haven't read any of her romances. I have The Last Letter and Things We Leave Unfinished, so I have those to read. I'll probably read those closer to fall time, but yeah. I don't remember where I was going with that, but love Rebecca Yarros. Alright, last book of the video is The Fine Art of Lying. This is about a art heist, which I love reading about art heists. I also love reading anything set in an art museum. There's a book by James Patterson called The Picasso Heist or The Picasso Thief, and I actually haven't read anything by James Patterson, and I would be intrigued to read that one. But anyway, this one is about Claire Bass. It was Claire's love of art that saved her from a bleak, predictable life in upstate New York and drew her to the cultured world of Manhattan's Upper East Side, where she met Jed, her doting, affluent husband. Despite her best efforts, including a half-finished PhD, abandoned when her daughter Sadie was born, Claire secretly can't help but feel like an imposter in Jed's 1% Park Avenue life. And when she discovers that an important work painted by the subject of her unfinished dissertation is hanging in the brownstone of a seductively attractive dealer, she believes fate is leading her to where she belongs, until she finds herself at the scene of a gruesome murder and a stolen masterpiece. Love the premise of this. I think it's gonna be so fun. It really reminds me of the show White Collar. That is one of my favorite TV shows that I have rewatched so many times. I just think that man is so beautiful. I'm just excited about this. It's Reese's Book Club's pick. I think it was, I don't remember if it was June or July's pick. It has a quote from Laura Dave on the front, who wrote The Last Thing He Told Me. I'm very excited for this. I hope I love it. It has all the makings to be a book that I would love, so we'll just have to see when I read it. And those were all the books that I have bought recently. So like I said, I really am gonna stop buying books, at least for the next couple of months. The only exception I will give myself is that there are a few new releases that I have actually pre-ordered, and so when the pre-orders come in, I'll allow myself to get those, but that's really only like 3 or 4 books for the next couple of months. So beyond that, I really am done with buying books for the current moment, because I really do have plenty to get me through the next little bit, like all the way through July, as well as August and September. And I even have a few like fall books left over from last year that I could read if I get in the fall spirit before October. I normally don't. I feel like a lot of people start it in September, but I like to stretch summer out as far as it will go, and so I don't normally start getting to the fall mood until at least the beginning of October, and then I'm out of it again in November because that's when Christmas starts. But yeah, I have plenty of books to last me until then, and then I have a few like fun fall books on my list. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I was gonna say if there are any books I should add to my list, tell me, but actually just tell me and I'll add them to my list and I won't buy them. But if there's anything just like absolutely pressing that I need to read, like a 5-star book that y'all have read, you can let me know. I won't buy it yet, but I'll put it on my list either way. But yes, that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video very, very soon.